Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Good morning, everyone, or good afternoon. So, as you can see, today or every Wednesday, we're going to have an IELTS class. We're going to have homeworks like any other subject. So, grab your coffee and let us complete what we have started, which is the writing session. The writing session in the IELTS test. The last thing that we have taken was an introduction to the writing section in the IELTS test, which was about having two tasks. Task 1 is about writing 150 words in 20 minutes, and task 2 is about writing 250 words in 60 minutes. Okay? So today's lesson will be only about task 1. Now let's see. So as we said before, 20 minutes you're going to write 150 words, and you have to make sure that they are going to count the words. The examiners are going to count your words, so you have to practice before how many words or not how many words. Sometimes, or maybe you're not going to have the enough time to count your words, so maybe if you practice before, you're going to see how 150 words look like when you write it down. Okay, now before we start to know how to write how to answer the questions of task 1, let's see what are the types of the questions that you're going to see in task 1. Number 1 is going to be the line graph. Line graph looks like this. Is a graphical presentation of objects. For each object there will be a line that connects points, as you can see, and represent its change over time. Now, for example, here we have wildlife population. The blue line will be about bears, the orange line will be about dolphins, and the gray line will be about whales. So as you can see, for example, here we have 2017, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. You're going, for example, to compare between those three lines, bears, dolphins, and whales, about their population, of course. This is what the line graph is about, or how it looks like. Number 2, or the second type of questions you're going to see in writing in the IELTS in task 1, bar chart. The data is shown in vertical, as you can see, or sometimes in horizontal bars. It is usually used to describe, compare, or point out the change or the trend on the bar chart. For example, here we have, this is what the bar chart look like. So, the percentage of people using multiple social networking sites. As you can see here, the green color will be in 2014 and the blue color will be in 2015. So, for example, here, the percentage of people not using any sites or any social networking sites will be in 2014 22%, and in 2015 will be 21%, while the percentage of people who used one social networking site, one only, in 2014 36%, and in 2015 28%. And you're going to continue comparing and pointing out the change, the trend, which means the highest thing in this chart. What is the highest thing or the trendiest thing? You're going to see it here. That is 36% of the people using one site in 2014. Okay. Number 3, or type number 3, is pie chart. The pie chart is usually divided into many parts, as you can see, and each part represents statistic in percentage for a factor. Now here, for example, I don't know what was the question, but here we have many factors: banana, cherry, durian, and as you can see, they are in different colors. And in each color, you're going to see that there is a number, which is the percentage of this thing or this factor. And you're going to compare, you're going to point out the change. For example, you're going to see what is the trend thing in this pie chart. Okay. Number 4, or the fourth type, is the table. There will be one or more than one table containing data about a topic. For example, here we have the topic here: COVID-19 versus flu versus cold. And this is about the symptoms, comparing between the three disease and the symptoms. For example, in fever, COVID-19, which is the coronavirus that we're facing nowadays, in fever, it's common that you have a fever if you have a COVID-19. And if you have a flu, also it's common to have a fever. But if you have a cold, it's rare. As you can see, you're going to analyze, compare the statistic given in the tables, and also you're going to describe the trend if there is one. Okay? The fifth type is map. You're going to be given one map, and that's a rare thing, but mostly you're going to be giving two maps. This format likely to be more popular. In detail, you will be given two maps about the same place, but maybe in two different timelines or projects. For example, here we have Frinton in 1990 and Frinton in 2012. Those are two maps. You're going to compare between them. You're going to point out the changes. For example, here we have the school. In 1990, behind the school or next to the school, we have the bank. While in 2012, next to the school, we have a restaurant. So this is what you're going to do if you have a map in task 1, in writing task 1. Number 6, which is the last one, a process. In detail, you have to mention, you have to write all the steps or phrases, in order without missing one. So they will give you a process of something. You're going to go one by one in order. Pay attention to that without missing anyone. The steps will be displayed using arrows, as you can see here, and you're just going to mention what are the steps. Okay, so those are the type of questions that you're going to see in task 1 and you need to practice for. Now here are some of the vocabulary that you're going to need, or some of the verbs that you're going to need in order to describe. Now, verbs to describe an upward trend, which means increased, climb, go up, grow, increase, jump, rise, or rocket. You're going to need, if you're going to describe upward trend, you're going to need those verbs. And here we have the best of them. Verbs to describe a downward trend: decline, decrease, drop, fall, go down. Okay, and those are the past of verbs, the past tense of them. Words and phrases used to describe a stable trend without any changing, whether it's decreased or increased, no changing. Maintain, remain, stay, constant, stable, steady, and unchanged. Okay, as you can see here also. Okay, now steps of writing. Step 1 is that you have to learn the question, which means you have to read the question, you have to understand what you are asked to do in this question, and then you're going to paraphrase the question. Now you have the question. Now you're going to rewrite the question again, but with your own words. Don't copy the question as it is, because if you did this, you're going to lose mark. And then you're going to write the overview. The overview, which means that the trend thing that you find in this chart or in this table. What is the most highest number in this table or in this chart? Okay, this is the overview. Then you have to consider rules in IELTS writing task 1, which is writing at least 150 words in 20 minutes. And then the last thing, you're going to check your grammar and punctuation, full stop, comma, and other things. Okay, now let's see an example here. Here we have the question. This is how we're going to have, this is what is the question will looks like. The table below gives information about student enrollments at Manchester University in 1937, 1967, and 2017. Summarize the information by selecting and reporting the main feature and make comparisons where relevant. Now let's see the table. We have Manchester University student enrollments. Here are the dates. Here are the questions and the numbers. How many new students enrolled in 1937? 327, 1,133, 6,254. What percentage were female? What percentage were male? What percentage came from within 40 miles of Manchester? And what percentage came from overseas? Overseas, which means people who come to the university but from other countries. We call it overseas. Okay? Now, you're going to see the overview. First of all, you have to paraphrase the question. This is the question. The table below gives information about student enrollments at Manchester University in 1937, 1967, and 2017. At first, you will find difficult time how to paraphrase a question because you think that there is no other words that I can use to rewrite the question again. But let's see the answer here. So, in the table, we can see information about the numbers of students enrolling at Manchester University in the 3 years, 1937, 1967, and 2017. Can you see Ula? Or sorry, Thani? In the table below, here, in the table below, we can see information about students enrollment, about the numbers of students enrolling. Can you see? This is paraphrasing. At Manchester University in the 3 years, he's adding the 3 years, 19, instead of just writing the years as he does in the question. Okay, here we have the most noticeable change concern the overall growth of student numbers from 327 in 1937 to 6,254 2017. As you can see, the most noticeable change. This is the phrase that he used to say that there is a difference between these two numbers. Also, it is surprising to note that the percentage of female enrollments did not rise steadily, but dropped between 1937 and 1967. As you can see here, what percentage were female? 1937, 45%, and 1967, 35%. So that means it was decreased until we become to this year. Okay, so we're not going to read everything, but this is how you're going to write the writing test, the writing in the IELTS test, task 1. You're just going to see the numbers. You're just going to analyze the numbers, see what is the trend, try to compare between them. Did they increase from this year to this year, increased or decreased, go up or go down, the difference, comparing. Okay, So this is all for today. Hope you have a nice day.